Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Movesets video. Today's video is going to be all about Glaceon, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Glaceon is the Ice-type eeveelution introduced in a Generation 4 that has access to two abilities, the first of which being Snow Cloak, which increases this Pokemon's evasion while Hail is up on the battlefield, and the second being Ice Body, which allows this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn while Hail is up on the battlefield, similar to that of Leftovers. As for its stats though, it possesses a base 65 HP, 110 defense, and 95 special defense to round off its defensive stats, which does allow this Pokemon to take hits fairly well, even though its HP stat is kind of on the lower end for as far as defensive Pokemon would be concerned. But being an eeveelution has access to Wish and also Heal Bell and things like that to really support a defensive set. The thing that you do have to realize though is that it is an Ice type, which isn't a particularly amazing defensive typing, so while this Pokemon does have the ability to take hits well, it's not really going to be able to switch in onto a ton of things that it's going to be able to resist. But offensively, it possesses a base 60 physical attack, which is fairly low, but a really fantastic base 130 special attack, allowing this Pokemon to hit very hard with special attacks that it uses. And lastly, its speed stat is only a base 65, which is on the slower end. However, this Pokemon is often used with a lot of speed investment and even possibly a Choice Scarf on more offensive sets to boost this speed stat further and allow it to outspeed a lot of things that it might be matched up against. But with all this in mind, Glaceon currently finds itself in the PU tier. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to go ahead and make use of one of Glaceon's new tools, which is that of Aurora Veil. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Calm Nature to increase its special defense but lower its physical attack, and then going with either the Snow Cloak or Ice Body ability depending on whether or not you want the evasion from Snow Cloak or the recovery from Ice Body. But as for the EVs, we're going to put 248 EVs into its HP to max that out with its highest possible odd-numbered HP stat, 252 into its special defense to also max that stat out, and then put the remainder 8 EVs into its speed to make it 2 points faster and allow it to outspeed other Pokemon that it might be matched up against that have a base 65 speed stat like itself. And for the item on the set, we're going to go ahead and run Light Clay to allow this Pokemon to extend the turns of Aurora Veil from 5 to 8. And in order to do this, we have to have Hail set up on the battlefield first. So we can either do this manually by using Glaceon with Hail, and this will also obviously activate your Snow Cloak or Ice Body ability, which is pretty great for it. But we could also run Protect here if we're going to go ahead and use Glaceon on a team that's already setting up Hail, either through use of the Snow Warning ability by another Pokemon that you're using, or another Pokemon just running Hail as well. But both of these options basically give the set some more utility, but we're going to go ahead and obviously run Aurora Veil in the second move slot to increase our team's ability to take physical and special hits for 8 turns with the Light Clay item. Then we're going to go ahead and run a Stab Ice-type attack in the form of either Blizzard, which is going to be obviously your strongest option, but having 100% accuracy while Hail is up on the battlefield, which is very cool, or running Frost Breath, which can be a great option for a more defensive set like this one, because it allows this Pokemon to bypass your opponent's special defense boosts if they happen to have acquired any, because Frost Breath always crits. But for the last move, we're going to go ahead and run Wish, which will obviously allow Glaceon to support its health for a long period of time, which can be used in combination with Protect, obviously, because we can run that on the set if not going with Hail, or just allow this Pokemon to be able to Wish Pass into something else on your team, which can work very effectively when combined with the added support that Aurora Veil provides, and allowing you to switch something in that will take, obviously, less damage with Aurora Veil up, and then recover a bunch of health from the Wish that you passed to it. As for this next moveset, I'm going to be showing off another defensive one for Glaceon to run, but one that is really more applicable to any kind of team as opposed to a team that might be wanting to make use of Hail. So for this set, we're again going to go with a Calm Nature, the same ability options, and also the same EV spread to maximize your special bulk, but for the item this time we're going to go with Leftovers to allow it to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. As for the moves, again the Wish Protect combination is there to allow Glaceon to have a reliable way to heal itself and also possibly pass off a wish to a teammate. But for the attacking options, we're going to either go with Ice Beam or Frost Breath to be your main stab ice type move. Both actually deal the same amount of damage in the sense of Frost Breath critting deals the exact same amount of damage as Ice Beam, but Ice Beam could also crit further and deal even more damage potentially, and it also has a chance to freeze, which I believe Frost Breath does not. So it's really whichever one you want to go with here, but both virtually have the same function. But the real variance in this set comes with the third move slot, in which you can either run Toxic to status opponents, Heal Bell to remove status from yourself and your teammates, Roar as a way to phase things out if they have started to acquire some stat boosts, or as a way to rack up entry hazard damage, or Ice Shard even on this set as well, to give this Pokemon a little bit more of an offensive presence, even on a more defensive set like this one, and on a set where you're really running a minus physical attack nature, just because having priority is always a really good idea, and it's also very surprising a lot of the time from Glaceon to run that. So if you have something at a low range of health, you could very easily pick it off with this Pokemon, even though it's more of a defensive set. But either way, this set can obviously be used on really any kind of team because it's not hail dependent, and it will allow Glaceon to function pretty well as a defensive wall and a support Pokemon for your team. Moving on to the third moveset of this video, we're going to start by running Glaceon with either a Timid nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a Hasty nature to boost its speed but lower its physical defense. And then again going with Snow Cloak or Ice Body, but this time an EV spread of 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed EVs to maximize its special attack and speed stats. And for the item, since this is a more offensive set, we have the option of running either a Choice Specs to increase our special attack while locking us into a move, a Choice Scarf to increase our speed while locking us into a move, a Life Orb to increase the damage of all of our attacks at the cost of losing 10% of our health every time we damage an opponent, a Z Crystal to give us a one-time super powerful move of any type of attack that we're running on this moveset, or Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, which is a little bit more of a defensive option, but being an Ice type, this Pokemon does have to worry about entry hazard damage, and Leftovers can definitely help to mitigate that quite a bit by allowing you to get that recovery at the end of every turn. But for the moves, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be a Stab Ice attack in the form of Blizzard or Ice Beam. Blizzard obviously being the stronger option that you would want to use if you're going to use this on a Hail team, or if you don't care about the accuracy being only 70%, but Ice Beam is definitely the more reliable option there because it's always going to hit and does still have a pretty good amount of power to it. Then we're going to go ahead and run a Hidden Power in the form of Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, or Hidden Power Fighting, all of which provide a variety of different type coverage options for this Pokemon to run, but primarily allowing this guy to hit Steel types a lot better because Glaceon typically struggles with them otherwise, so it's really dependent upon what you are matched up against as to what Hidden Power you want to go with. But then we're also going to go ahead and run Shadow Ball on this set as well to allow this Pokemon to have a powerful Ghost type move which has some really great neutral coverage, but also allows it to hit Ghost types and Psychic types super effectively. Now unfortunately for Glaceon, that's about as far as its type coverage goes. So for this last move slot, we have a couple of interesting options. Again, we can run Ice Shard for the priority that it provides, which can be very useful on a set like this. But we could also run an additional Ice type special attack in the form of Frost Breath to give us that ability to crit opponents through their special defense boost. But lastly, we could even go ahead and run Toxic on this set as well, which will allow Glaceon a reliable option to use against opposing Pokemon that might be very good at taking its special attacks. So you can instead go for Toxic, which will status them and slowly wear them down, to then possibly allow Glaceon to have an easier time KOing them later, or just outright KO them in the battle, thus paving the way for Glaceon to be able to sweep later on after those special walls have been taken down. But all of these options do give the set quite a bit of utility and allow Glaceon to have an additional option outside of its coverage in the form of either a Hidden Power or Shadow Ball in addition to its Ice type stab. Up next, we have a really great Z boosting set for Glaceon to take advantage of. So again, we're going to go ahead and go with the Timid nature, the same ability options, and also the same EVs to maximize your special attack and also speed stats. But for the item, we're either going to go ahead and run Icium Z, which we're going to use in combination with Hail to set up Hail while also simultaneously increasing your speed by 1 stage, and this will also activate your Snow Cloak or Ice Body ability. Or we can go ahead and run this with Normalium Z to be used in combination with Celebrate to increase all of our stats by 1 stage. But keeping in mind that you can only do this if you run the Snow Cloak ability, there's no way of running Ice Body with Celebrate. But whatever option you use here, Glaceon gets a really nice boost to its offensive power, and also even a little bit of defensive boost as well because of the obviously stat boost that Celebrate provides, and the potential ability to have attacks miss with the Snow Cloak ability under Hail, or just the recovery you get from Ice Body. So both of these options work very well, and it's really up to you whichever one you want to choose. But if you're going to go with the Hail option, Blizzard is going to be your Ice type stab option of choice because it's the more powerful option and will also be 100% accurate in Hail. Or if you go with the Celebrate, obviously going with Ice Beam is the much better option because it's more consistent and it won't have a chance to miss. But just like before, Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, and Hidden Power Fighting are going to be an option for coverage, along with Shadow Ball to allow this Pokemon to have a reliable way of damaging a variety of opponents it's matched up against. But on a boosting set like this one, it allows Glaceon to really shine as an offensive sweeper if it's able to set up and thus deal a lot of damage with its powerful special attacks. Finally, for the last moveset of this video, I'm going to be showing off a pretty cool mixed attacking set for Glaceon to run. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Hasty nature to increase its speed but lower its physical defense, going either with the Snow Cloak or Ice Body ability, which on this set it really doesn't matter which one you choose. And for the EVs, we're going to actually maximize its physical attack and its speed this time with 252 EVs into both of those, while putting the remainder 4 into its special attack. And for the item, going either with a Life Orb to increase the damage of all of your attacks at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage an opponent, an Icicle Plate to just increase the power of all of our Ice-type attacks on this set, which we're going to be using 2 of, a Z-Crystal to correspond to any of the moves on the set, either to augment the physical attack boost that Workup provides, or by just giving you a super powerful move of any type of attack that we're going with on the set, really, which would be Icium Z, I guess, in this particular case, because you really wouldn't want to use Normalium Z with Hidden Power. Or we could also run Leftovers on the set to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, which again is useful for a Pokemon that is weak to Stealth Rock, like this one, to give it a little bit more sustainability. But for the moves, Workup is a perfect option for a mixed attacking set like this one, because it will be increasing our physical attack and our special attack by 1 stage. As mentioned before, if you do use Workup with Normalium Z, it will actually increase your physical attack by an additional stage, kind of functioning as a Swords Dance plus a +1 special attack boost, which is, again, perfect for a mixed set like this one. So then we're going to go ahead and run Ice Shard to be our main physical attack on the set, really our only physical attack, which is going to have that really useful priority and allow Glaceon to be a pretty powerful revenge killer with this move, as well as just be able to potentially deal a lot of damage to anything it's matched up against that is at a lower range of health to potentially take it out. But then again, we're going to go ahead and run Ice Beam or Frost Breath as our main Ice-type special stab, and then either Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, or Hidden Power Fighting on the set to give you some more additional type coverage. Shadow Ball doesn't really have a particularly good use on this set because it doesn't really provide necessary type coverage that we would need otherwise, which is why going with a Hidden Power Fire is a little bit more of a reliable option, along with Hidden Power Ground or Hidden Power Fighting, of course. But this set in and of itself has a lot of interesting utility and allows Glaceon to hit very hard as a physical or special attacker, and gives it a really reliable way of making use of the awesome priority move in Ice Shard. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this video on Glaceon, so thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.